my question for you as a pharmacist and somebody who loves biochemistry, how would you say the 90 essential nutrients, but I know all nutrition works differently in the body. And we do know that there's other aspects to health besides just nutrition. But how do the 90 essential nutrients work biochemically in the body? What exactly is happening when you take nutrition like that?
The 90 essential nutrients are micronutrients as opposed to macronutrients. Your macronutrients are your protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Your micronutrients are your vitamins, your minerals, your essential fatty acids. I should say these are the essential micronutrients, meaning the micronutrients you have to have or else you die. Essential micronutrients are the essential vitamins, essential minerals, technically elements. They're not really minerals, they're elements. Essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. There's about 90 of them, okay? These essential nutrients channel electrical energy. The macronutrients, the proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, are storehouses of electrical energy. And the combination of the micronutrients and the macronutrients, the storehouses of electrical energy, plus the channelers of electrical energy, work together to make sure electricity is channeled through the body effectively. So if you just have the raw materials, the sources of electrical energy, the protein, fats, and the carbohydrates, and you don't have the micronutrients, which channel and direct all of that electrical energy, you're just going to have a mass of electrical energy. Body doesn't like a mass of electrical energy, doesn't know what to do with it, and what it'll end up doing is it'll stash it. It'll store it away for a rainy day. That's what's called body fat. And excess fat, excess carbohydrates, and excess protein end up as body fat. And when they're not, eventually, the body can't store them in fat any longer, its fat storage chemistry starts to break down. Eventually, they'll just wreak havoc. And this is where disease comes from. The micronutrients, when they're added to the macronutrients, facilitate the movement of all that electrical energy into the chemical reactions. And this is why when you start using the mighty 90 essential nutrients, you don't need as much macronutrients, because now the macronutrients you have are being channeled more effectively into the right chemical reactions. And this is why people notice that they don't need to eat as much when they start on the mighty 90 essential nutrients, because now they're able to handle all that electrical energy with more facility. They don't need to have as much quantity of electrical energy because they're using it more effectively. Does that make sense? You follow what I'm saying? That's a very important distinction and a very enlightening way to look at the relevance of micronutrition. We have created a food supply today that doesn't have the micronutrients. It has the macronutrients. And we're all getting lots of macronutrients. We're all getting plenty of carbohydrates and plenty of fat and even plenty of protein. But we're not getting enough of the micronutrients. And consequently, we get all of this energy inputted into the body, and the body can't use it. And so what ends up happening is not only does all that energy get stashed or ultimately it wreaks havoc on the body, but because it's not being used to build collagen, to build muscle, to support the immune system, to create neural connections, to do all the things that the body has to do, we end up eating more because the body doesn't know that it's missing micronutrients, because for eons, every time the body got macronutrients, it got micronutrients with it. It's only been the last couple hundred years that we figured out how to separate the micronutrients from the macronutrients. The body hasn't adjusted to that. So every time you feel like you're hungry, the body's saying, get me some food. It doesn't want the calories. It wants the micronutrients, and it doesn't realize this poor body of ours, it's been around for 1 million years or so, depending on who you talk to. Certainly this human form has been around for a few 100,000 years. It's used to getting calories and micronutrients together. It's only been 200 years that the calories and the micronutrients have been suppressed. So we're all on this hunt for micronutrients, and because all that's available to us is calories, we end up way overeating, eating way more than we need to. Whereas if we take the micronutrients, we won't need anywhere near as much of the macronutrients.
Yeah, that's just incredible and a great way and a great perspective to look at. And in specific, the 90 essential nutrients that comes from longevity, it's synergistic, right? Like the vitamins and the minerals, they actually, not just that the micro works with the macronutrients, the micronutrients have to be synergistic, and they work together as well. And if you can explain, like, you can't just nitpick and pick a few.
You like baseball? You follow baseball at all? You know baseball? You got to have a shortstop. You got to have a third baseman. You got to have a second baseman. You got to have a pitcher, first baseman, left field, right field, center field, catcher. You got to have them all. If you have a great baseball team, but you don't have a catcher, you're not going to win a lot of games. If you have the best base, the 1927 Yankees, whatever, the best team that ever was, and they're missing a first baseman, they're not going to win a lot of games. You need them all. They all work together. Nutrients are a team. Sometimes people ask me, oh, I can only take 1 or 2 vitamins. What do I take? That's crazy. If you have a symphony, but you're missing, the percussion, or you're missing the horns, you're missing the strings, you don't have a symphony. You got to have all of them. They all have to work together. And that's one of the really cool things about the longevity supplements is they provide you with a well-rounded and a well-balanced nutritional supplement schema. Now, that being said, food, ideally, in ideal circumstances, food is the best place to get your nutrients. Unfortunately, that's fantasy land.